welcome to yet another edition of Eram Group Presents Destination Kerala CEO Roundtable, the Growth Dialogues. In this edition, we are discussing the self-financing colleges mess that we are in every academic year, thanks to the interventions of the government and the courts. We have representatives of the various management federations here, and in this session, we plan to go with them on what can be some of these constructive suggestions that can help improve the scene in terms of ensuring both the future and academic interests of the students as well as the business interests of the investing management representatives. So I have a very distinguished panel here with me today. I'll introduce them from my immediate right. I have Dr. R. Shashikumar of the Cooperative Academy of Professional Education, a Government of Kerala initiative. I have Father Shaiju Agustin Topil of Lourdes Institutions and also the President of the Association of the Managements of Christian Self-Financing Nursing Colleges of Kerala. And I also have on my extreme right Mr. P.J. Ignatius, closely associated with the Rajagiri institutions and also the main spokesperson of the Kerala Christian Professional College Managements Federation. Hearty welcome to all three of you to this edition of the Roundtable. So let's start with, we'll go around the table. Please feel free to share your opinions on any of the questions. These are not addressed to anybody in particular. And SFCs, so self-financing colleges, seem to have a problem with everything. There's a problem with NEET, there is a problem with the sharing, there's a problem with year out. Are SFCs advocating self-regulation like people in the media, or you are okay to be regulated but you have your major areas of concerns? Let's start with Mr. Ignatius.
See, you mentioned about 2-3 things. One, NEET is not by itself, it's not a problem. NEET is only qualifying examination or entrance examination. But the follow-up of NEET, they interpreted that NEET ends with common admission. That's what has complicated the examination and admission system. And if you see the history of self-financing, the first self-financing college was started by Muslim Educational Society in Kuttipuram with an engineering college. And before that there was one law academy in Trivandrum. See, nobody questioned about their admissions or anything. And then late or second part of 1980s, so burgeoning of self-financing colleges, mostly by the universities, and MG University was the first one to lead it. They started courses in nursing, paramedical and allied sciences, followed by the government directly through different agencies. One was IHRD, LBS, then of course came. The first self-financing medical college was started in the cooperative sector at Pariyar. Things didn't have much problem till 2001 when Mr. A.K. Anni, the former chief minister, sanctioned self-financing colleges. From then onwards, the concept of 50-50 came in. This 50-50 means if you have 100 seats, 50 seats will be allotted by the government, 50 seats by the management. This first 50, the so-called, meritorious, they pay relatively lower in fees, and the remaining 50 have to bear the burden of the first 50. Litigations went on, and finally Supreme Court has held that it is unconstitutional to ask a student to bear his friend sitting next seat. The problem starts with the seat sharing. Every year, only towards the fag end of the admission season, agreements are executed, unnecessary condition restrictions come in. That is one reason. Second reason, with regard to the regulations, Supreme Court judgment in TMA Pai case and Unikrishnan, TMA Pai case, Islamic Academy, etc. They insisted on 2 committees. One is a committee headed by a former judge of the High Court to regulate the fee, and another committee to supervise the admissions. Four former judges have led the committees, but the functioning of none of the committees has been satisfactory. The decisions of the committees are arbitrary. They act as an extended arm of the government because all the nominees of the committee, except one, are government servants. Only an educationist is an independent person, but he himself is nominated by the government. So they do not fix a reasonable fee, taking into account the expenses involved in running the education. Instead, they arbitrarily fix a fee. That is what leads to litigation. And about year-out system. Year-out system is introduced in engineering colleges.
Correct.
We too have some engineering colleges. Our engineering colleges, we don't oppose year-out. Because a student failing in first year need not wait till fourth year, then spend another 5-6 years to clear the back papers and finally land up nowhere. And many of them become antisocial elements. Before that, if we find that I cannot cope up with the stress and workload, there are other opportunities equally paying, like he could go for arts and science colleges or some paramedical courses, etc. In fact, over a longer period, this year-out system will be a benefit to the education system of Kerala.
Father, do you agree with what Mr. Ignatius is saying? And when the government interfered, by how much has the fees been slashed? What's the percentage slashed?
See, Christian management always held that this cross subsidy will not be a just thing to do. As Mr. Ignatius rightly said, and the Supreme Court also has given the verdict, that it is not a just thing. So that's why we have held, especially in nursing, that everywhere, for every student, it is the same fees. So whether it is a government seat or a management seat, it's the same fee. So when we fix a fee, and that should be sufficient for the running of the institution, for better facilities and things like that, so then the fees should be fixed judiciously, which never happens. It is an arbitrary fixing of fees. So that is why we need to have a scientific approach in that. Every year this happens, and every year there is discussions after discussions, and then we say, the media will say that there is, the management is very strict on, they are demanding too much fees and things like that. But at the same time, we should know that the self-financing college, by the very definition, has to sustain on the fees. There is no other way. So to be sustainable and to develop, we need to have fees, and that should come after a scientific study, how much is required for the facilities, for the faculty, and for improving the systems. So that's with regard to the fees fixation. And in nursing, it has always been like that. NEET anyway is not coming
into nursing.
But seat sharing, we have agreed on the 50-50 formula. But then fees sharing, it should be equal. That was the concept that we held, and we have, the time has proven that that stand was right.
Right, the Supreme Court. Okay.
Yeah, the Supreme Court, and even the government is now agreeing to that.
In 2006, a legislation was brought in which was supposed to be a revolutionary legislation to not to regulate, to control self-financing institutions. And Christian managements, both medical, nursing and engineering, could not agree to many of the restrictive conditions, and we went to the court, and court gave us remedy. But 2006 to 2012, in engineering, nursing and medical, we were admitting students on our own. And we had a self-regulatory body. I can say proudly that during those 6 years, I was practically controlling all these admissions. There was not even a single allegation that 1 rupee more was collected from the student. nor admission was refused to an eligible student or given to an ineligible student. So the Christian institutions, we follow some self-regulation. Then, that is the core reason for our success. Second, this education consistently over several decades has been the domain of agencies, educational agencies. If you see most of the all the Christian institutions, these are run by educational agencies which have a tradition of 50 years, 75 years, 100 years like that. They have a long-term vision, not for 5 years or 10 years. And there is a internal regulatory mechanism within that. Whereas many of the self-financing engineering colleges are not run by an educational agency. Some of them are run. Most of them are run by a partnership or a group of individuals who consider it as a business opportunity. Education cannot be treated as business. It has to be treated as occupation or a service. The only difference is it has to be self-sustaining. Even self-financing is a wrong nomenclature, misnomer. It should be changed to unaided or private. It is cost sharing only. They are not financing, they are sharing the cost.